Okay, so let me just say what I just said just a few minutes ago. I made this product. This was my first attempt and I don't like it. I don't like it because I have some marks that were left by the tool that are ugly. I don't like the way that the hot glue gun left marks. I could probably clean that up a little bit better with a soldering iron and just carefully move it around, right? I also don't like the way that this attaches to the back. I just don't think that's really nice. So my plan now is, instead of using this washer, and there's a little rubber washer that fits inside that washer, and covering that with fabric, my plan now is to attach everything to here, and this washer with the fabric on top of that will go on top of here. That's my plan. So the front legs I want to keep exactly the same. They're going to come up, they're going to attach to this rubber washer, and then on the back, I'm going to make this into one piece in the back. I think that's possible. So I'm going to have the leg come straight up. It's going to touch the black washer, come out, over and around. And so it's going to be like a little L shape right here, or a Z shape or something. Does that make sense? And this is right here where the washer touches. And so all the gluing and stuff like that will touch to here. I might even make some incisions on this so that they are recessed a little bit, so that if I look at it from an angle like here, that won't show up. That makes sense, right? Incidentally, guys, I'm not editing this video at all, so yeah, there's that. Now this rubber washer is extremely old and it's rigid. So I'm going to go ahead and take a Dremel tool instead of using an X-Acto knife, and I'm going to make an incision on the side, right? Guys, keep in mind, I've never done this before, right? So guess what? There's a good chance, like when I was making the door, that halfway through the project I realized there's an error, right? And if that happens, guess what? You start over, right? It's a very ugly smell. Okay, that's fine. I'm going to peel this off because I'm not going to use this one anymore. It was my model of what to do better. This is going to go inside there. It looks like it's going to stick out just a little bit. Now, keep in mind, I'm using hot glue. Super glue will work just as fine. I just don't have any this second. I love using goop, but goop is kind of like dirty in the sense that this is kind of dirty. It can be really snotty looking, so that's not nice. Remember right here, I'm going to have just a U shape in the front, so that little incision works right here. On the back, I'm going to have a little L shape, a little shelf, right? And the metal piece is going to come down, so that it's actually going to have to be a Z shape, where it goes up and then back down. Does that make sense? Because there's the metal washer that needs to go into that space, right? Okay, so if that's true, then I really only need dots in the back. If this is the front, this is the back, I just need dots, but I'm just gonna flatten out the whole side so that I can move back and forth a little bit. Did you do it? Yeah, take it over. Have them install it for you. Too low? Beautiful sound. Okay, so as far as the wire I'm using 18 gauge solid wire. I don't want the stranded wire because the stranded wire has a habit of going back to its original shape. The solid wire is more rigid and it likes to stay in whatever place you put it in. Does that make sense? So generally I think I like the height of this, so I'm going to use that as my template. Only this time I'm going to use a cleaner tool. And unfortunately this tool is a little too fat, so I'm going to use a smaller tool, but the part that might get marked is underneath where nobody will see it, so that's okay, right? Okay, are we set? Use a better tool. I think that's close. It's within a few millimeters, I think. Or not, less than a few millimeters. So that will fit in nicely right into that spot, right? I'm going to go ahead and apply hot glue onto this spot right here, and apparently on my finger. That really hurts. Okay. Now, once I put it in there, I'm going to peel it off. Why? Why did I put it on and then take it off? Yeah. It's an easy way to clean it, right? It's like when you're doing the, when you're using the, what is that called? The heart resuscitators things, the AEDs. If somebody has like really hairy hair or hairy chest, they have very hairy chests, right? And if it doesn't make good contact, you just peel the whole thing off and it rips off their hair,
Wouldn't that
right?
hurt?
Oh, they're already passed out, so
Oh.
yeah. Their heart is literally not working enough for them to like be conscious.
One is like, oh no, my hairy chest. How dare you?
That's the reason they wake up.
If they wake up because of that, yay! Happiest day ever. We didn't even have to use it, right? Okay, so I put it on, I peeled it off, I put it on again, and I tried to peel it off, and it's not peeling off. You know what that means? It's clean, right? That it's gonna stick this time, right? Okay. So I'm just heating up the hot glue that was already there and applying this on top of that spot, right? Making sure that I create some type of perpendicular shape, right? And yeah, right now this part is a little burgery, right? It's my technical term for ugly. But none of that's going to show, right? Because that's going to be underneath this part right there. Okay, now the second part I think is going to be a little bit complicated for me to figure out, but I think I can do it, I think. So I'm going to go ahead and start with, can you give me the needle nose pliers? Should be around there. The needle nose. Where are the needle nose? Thank you so much. Okay, so I'm going to make a Z shape with this so that I can touch that point and then come back around, right? Okay. And then I felt like this arch that I made was a little on the short side, so I'm just going to go a little wider. Bend metal slowly. If you try to bend it quickly, you'll get little, like, bumps, little, when you're talking about, like, like cutting wood. You know how like when you change your hand when you're using a table saw and it makes that little like 36 of an inch like little thing? That's called a wow. Same thing happens with metal. If you go too fast, you'll get this little kink. And unfortunately, metal retains memory. So if you bend it in a specific way, it doesn't like to unbend. Does that make sense? And then right here, I want a nice sharp angle. So I passed my point, and then I went back to my point. Okay. And then I'm going to use, give me those pliers there. Thank you. I'm going to use the pliers. Be careful because you don't want to flatten out the, what is this called? The insulation. You want to keep the insulation the same way, right? So, and then I'm just kind of eyeballing this. I think I'm close. It's like 2 millimeters too long. Let me do it. Actually, let me check it with this one. Oh well. Just gonna have to make all 4 of them a little short, or all 3 of them a little shorter, I guess. That's fine. Okay. So now that I have that, I'm gonna attach this right to those 2 points. I'm using the edge of the table, right? And I want to increase my center of gravity. I want to lower my center of gravity. So to lower my center of gravity, all I have to do is take the legs, and then instead of having them going straight up and down or even in, I just spread them out a little bit more. Just like when you're playing volleyball or soccer, right? Maybe not soccer. Maybe more like volleyball and basketball. You spread your legs so that you can gain control. In soccer, you're just running faster, right? The closer your feet are, the faster you can turn. So, I'm not sure. I'll leave that soccer comment to you guys to debate. Okay. So I think I like that. It makes sense to me, at least in my head. I'm going to go ahead and glue these spots. Again, I'm going to apply the glue. And then what am I going to do afterwards? Take it off. If it comes off easily, you knew you did the right thing. If it doesn't come off easily, then you're ready to go to the next spot. Right? So I let that sit. This is the hot, what is it called? The high temperature one. It's really hot. Earlier it was really burning my fingers. That came off pretty easily. Let's try that again. Ooh, that's a glob if you ever saw it. The more glue you put on, the longer it takes for the glue to dry up, right, to set up. So, gotta keep that in mind. I don't really think I need a clean work surface for this particular project, but depending on what you're doing, like if that black stuff gets on my fingers and it gets on this white part, then that's a problem, right? I don't mind spray painting it, but I'd hate to have to do like an extra step if I don't have to, right? So that came off fairly poorly, so that's good. I'm going to go ahead and apply just a little bit of glue. I'm not squeezing it, I'm just using the stuff that was dripping out of the edge. I'm going to use that and apply this right here. Thank you so much for telling me. I'm very appreciative. I do that so often. Not usually with something like this, but when I'm making like panels that are like right left specific, I often make a mistake in my head. And then if it's right left specific, you can't just switch them out later. So that's just so disappointing. My hands are fairly shaky. It's not too bad the second, but that works against you, right? So if you need to, I don't have a lot, but I have a few third hands, which is what you use for electronics when you have the little flippy things. And the third hands could hold things in place for you. I'm going to use a little bit more girth of glue. Oh, that's way too much. Good. And wish me luck. Okay, that looks like it's going to stick. Okay. The more you mess with glue as it's trying to set up, the worse the connection, right? Super glue, the best thing that you could do with super glue is to just kind of touch the corner, and if the surfaces are really, really close, capillary reaction is going to suck it right in, right? And you just leave it. You don't touch it, right? Let the sufficient amount of time pass, and just hope that you did everything right. Okay, so I think that that's pretty close to being set up right there. There's still a lot of burgers on this thing, a lot of icky stuff. It's not strong enough for me to test it yet, so I'm just going to set it over there. Now I can come over to this thing right here and start messing with this. The first thing that I did with this is it was really rusty, so I used the grinder wheel to, the grinder wheel has a grinder on one side and a wire brush on the other, and I used the wire brush to kind of knock off all the what is that called? The rust and the oil and stuff like that. Emma, can you go to that plastic tote behind you and grab up a very thin piece of fabric? The first one that you find that's kind of sort of thin is all I need. Okay. So as she's doing that, I'm going to go ahead and inspect my work. I'm going to use my X-Acto blade to cut off some of the gunk. Okay. Right now the legs are still too close together. I'm going to use the X-Acto blade like a saw right here and go back and forth to eliminate some of this excess hot glue gun stuff. Good, came off, right? Like I said, it's okay to use hot glue gun, but make sure that nobody can tell you did. Okay. Okay, so it looks like you guys found some fabric for me. Oh, I think that's going to be perfect. Okay. So it's a fairly dirty piece of fabric. That's okay. Remember, we're just doing a demo, right?
Not like we're recording it.
We are recording this.
Not like we're recording live.
I'm not going to edit it, so it's pretty much live as far as I'm concerned. Now, guys, you're welcome to use the the 3M80, the 3M90, okay? 3M77 is for rubber and other things that can melt, right? Like styrofoam and stuff like that. If you try to spray styrofoam with the 80 or the 90, it just dissolves it. So that's what the 77 is for. Oh, I'm sorry, that's what the 80 is for. Do we have any 90 in there? I can check. So, yeah, this is for rubber and vinyl. There we go. Here's an off-brand product that does the same thing. Okay. So, when you're doing this, make sure you do it inside the spray booth, right? This is not a spray booth. This is where the camera is.
Oh.
Okay, so it's coming up real thick. The nozzle that I'm using is like really old and funky. Now how does contact cement, how does it work?
Oh, I know.
Okay, say it.
Once it like tacks up, you stick it together, and then it stays.
Good, good. Yep. Good job.
Thank you.
So right now I went ahead and sprayed one part. Okay, I'm gonna touch, this is the part that I want to use. I'm gonna touch over here. It's still sticking to my finger. So that's not good enough. I'll just wait a few more seconds. Okay. Still, it's pretty close. Still not there yet. I don't know why I blow on these. It doesn't actually make it faster. It's ridiculous. Drink a cup of tea. Unfortunately for this, you can't just like walk away and come back. Once it like hardens all the way, it no longer glues. So there's kind of like this perfect timing. I think we're there. This got glued a few seconds later, so it's still not there, but this one's close. Okay. So, I like the, this is an off-brand product. Both of them are just as nice. High strength spray adhesive is like the generic name, but I like the 3M90 is really good. 3M90 is perfect for like really heavy stuff too. So if you're doing something industrial and something that gets like worn and torn, then 90 is perfect for that. So. Okay. This is close. I think it's close enough. I'm gonna go ahead and apply that right there. It's stuck. Now, I can't just fold it in. It would be nice if I could, but I just can't do that. Can you give me those scissors? I'm so embarrassed using scissors. Ridiculous. When if at all possible, don't use scissors. So I'm gonna go ahead and make like a big circle around this, way too big to begin with. And then I'm gonna start folding it. I guess I have to put the glue on the inside too here, huh? I don't think there's a way around it. So. And then I'm gonna add some darts and start folding them. Okay, people that sew. Anybody here that sews? No. Okay, what's a dart? She's making the right, like the hand motions that make sense, but. Exactly, a little indent, a little cut in, a V-shaped cut, so that when I start folding everything in, they all fit, right? Okay. So again, I put a new coat of glue on, so now I have to wait a little bit longer, right? And I'm gonna go ahead and start making a few darts right here. I don't know if I can. I guess I'll try. Remember, X-Acto blades, how do they work? Push as hard as you can. Is that correct?
Yeah.
No. If I push as hard as I can, I won't cut my skin. If I dragged,
You will cut your skin.
I would be at the emergency room, right?
Yes.
It's like, oops, not a good idea, right?
I know.
Okay, so I'm going to add in a few more darts in here. Notice how my darts are starting about the same distance from here to there as where the darts are coming in. This particular product is a felt-like product. Probably felt. Yes, it is felt, sorry. I don't know why I'm not committing to that. But. So since it's felt, it stretches pretty easily anyway. But, yeah. But if I put the darts too close to the edge, those darts are going to show up. So I don't want them to show up. So there's that. Okay. Okay. Putting a lot of darts on this. I don't know if I'm overkilling, but I'm still waiting for the glue to kind of set up anyway. Doesn't hurt me.
Can't you just put like 2 big ones down over?
2 big darts?
Yeah.
No. If you're doing like if you're doing a square, you would only need 4 darts in the 4 corners. 8 maximum. If it's like a articulated corner of a chair, then you might need 2 darts. But for the most part, anytime there's a bend, you kind of have to put something in there so it doesn't all bunch up in one spot. Unless you don't mind it bunching up in one spot and have it all wrinkly. But I want things to be really pretty, so. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and kind of push from underneath. Right? And then I'm going to push that inside. Okay. And look at how it like folds nicely. There's not like a crimp in there. It's beautiful. Man, I've never done this in my life. I mean, I've done chairs, but I've never done like a round thing ever. So. Yeah. I did a couch before. It didn't look that good. I was a freshman in college. I found it on the side of the road, so I like used like 2 cans of Lysol to make the smell go away. All the people in the hall were mad at me because the whole place smelled like Lysol. But I got a couch. What? Yeah, on the side of the road. Freebies. Okay, so now that I got that, I think it's fairly good. You can see that I could probably did a better job if I had more experience. There's a few little spots where a little high. I might be able to squeeze that in with my finger. There's like a little bump right there. I mean, it's not that bad, but it's definitely not bad for the first thing I ever did in my life. Where's the camera? There we go. Right? Okay. So that's good. Now I have the other part right here. It's gonna go into that part right there. The fabric used up a ton of space on the inside. So now I have to make a choice. Do I cut some of this out or do I just kind of set it on top? I think I want to cut out just a little bit more, maybe not everything, but at least a little bit more so that it recesses just a little bit more. I don't need it to be perfect underneath where nobody sees it, but I'd like it to look nice, right? Looks like there's a few spots where I took too long to get the felt in, and the glue isn't holding very nicely. So speed does matter. And again, guys, your second attempt is always going to be easier, right? So I think I like this the way it is. I think I need to push it down a little bit to make it where I want it to be. Checking to see if I have any like needle nose pliers that are vice grips, but I don't think I do. I think I have them at home. Now I have to make a choice as to which way do I want. How do I want to glue this? I guess I have the hot glue gun out, so I'm just going to be lazy and do that. Is that what I'm going to do? I'm trying to think it over in my head to see if that's really a good decision or not. Okay. I guess I'm going to try that. Again, I'm going to just put a little bit on. Obviously, if you're using like brand new products, you don't have to do this process where I peel it off, right? Unless it has like petroleum-based products on it or some kind of release agents. Release agents are really, well, when you're making something from a factory, you need to pop it out of the tooling, right? So they put release agents on so that it comes out of the factory nice, right? Instead of getting stuck on their tools. Well, that very product that makes it so nice for them is the very product that sometimes as artists we're fighting, right? So, I don't know. Just kind of keep that in mind. Sometimes you have to clean stuff before you paint it, right? Get all that icky, hairy stuff off right there. And then I'm going to use my needle nose right here to compress. Looks like I broke the chair, the front part. Oh, that whole thing came off. That's not nice. I broke the whole thing. The rubber that I was using was so incredibly old, I guess. Yeah, that fell off too. So sad. But, did I learn all of my lessons that I need to do it right the third time?
Yes.
Yes, I did.
New rubber.
Yeah, I could have used steel or aluminum. This one just happened to be together when I found it. So stuck to my finger nicely. Good. Now, if I was really like concerned about anything, I also have the choice of putting a base on the floor or the base on this, right? I don't see why that's necessary. I don't see it from the side anymore. I don't see any ugliness from the side. So I don't see why that's necessary, but that's something that I can consider, right? At least. I want to make sure that when I do this, it's symmetrical. Oh, you can hear how hard that rubber is. It's like breaking like glass. Good. Okay, a little spot right here. Little spot on the other side. And I used everything in here that I used was found objects. I have lots of fabric up there for you guys if you want to use any of that fabric. Some of that fabric is really thick. It's meant for upholstery. Some of it's very thin. Students brought some stuff in. Okay. And here is my chair. Now, what do I do about fixing the center of gravity? Spread out the legs a little bit.
I feel like the legs are too long.
What?
I feel like the legs are too long.
They could be. When I spread it out, the glue kind of gave up on me. Oh my. Oh. Gave out on me, gave out. Okay, good. I can easily make those legs shorter or longer, right? But voila, done.